All right, ladies and gents, and in today's lesson, I'm going to show you what you should never put on your credit card application, all right? I see so many people adding the wrong things, and I just want to help you to get those pre-approvals, automatic approvals, whether it's on the personal side or business side, all right? So with enough rambling, let's dive in. So before I even get started, I know you're wondering, well, how do you know what to actually put on a credit card application? Blah, 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 blah. I just want to let you know, I actually got connected with an underwriter and they gave me so many notes on how to actually get approved for personal or business funding. I had to let my family know, all right? No, it's not like just super under the table stuff, but it is certain things that underwriters look at that we probably as regular consumers trying to obtain the funding would never think about. So it's all about unlearning and relearning. So I'm going to give you all the notes that they gave me, and a lot of it is a lot of simple fixes. So let's go from getting denied to getting approved. All right, number one, the two things that you should never put on your credit card application is that you are retired or you are self-employed. Hold on. Before you try to chop my head off, let me explain. Even if you are retired or things of that nature, in most cases, when it comes to underwriters, what they told me was it can sometimes pop up a head scratcher or even just a red flag all in itself. Because you got to remember, underwriters don't think from our side, they're thinking from the institution side. So the things that they actually start thinking when they see retired or self-employed or things of that nature is, well, maybe they can't pay their income and they're trying to use this because they're retired. Retiring equals limited income for a majority of people in the United States. It's limited. So they're trying to think of, well, are they trying to use us as a scapegoat, someone to lean on? I don't know if I want to approve. Let's go ahead and deny them. You see what I'm saying? And even if you think about it from that aspect, it is kind of wonky and it's like, yeah, you kind of got me there or whatever. Even if that's not the case, don't put that you're actually retired. Just stay clear away from that. Now, when it comes to self-employed, it doesn't sound sexy and it doesn't ring a bell in underwriters' ears. I'm here to let you know now, especially in the era that we're in now. Yeah, true enough, in your situation, self-employed sounds good. It sounds good to me in all the cases, but to underwriters, it doesn't sound good because according to them, it's like you're most likely winging it or you're just trying to make it. So with that probability, there could be a case where it is a eyebrow raiser and again, another red flag stating that, well, they're just trying to get their business off the ground or anything of that nature. So what we need to do is automatically deny them, no questions. So what you want to do is to actually get around this is put your actual business name. I don't care what your business name is. I don't care if it's Cotton Candy LLC or anything of that nature. If that's the name of your business and they ask you where do you work, put your actual business name. I promise you, keep your ego in check. You know that you're the owner. Again, even if you are the owner and you're the owner of Cotton Candy LLC, put that as the business name. Do not put self-employed. All right, and number two comes into play is the underwriter told me that a lot of times people are putting their income either too low or too high. And that could be a red flag either way. So I didn't even know that. So let's go into a little more detail of how we can actually go around this. According to my source, they were stating that a lot of times if your income is at a certain level, then it can't actually stack up to your DTI on your credit report. If you don't know what a DTI is, it's your debt to income ratio. So basically, it fights against if you have student loans, auto loan, mortgage loans, personal loans, anything of that nature, anything on your credit report that is actually going against your actual income, whatever it is, whatever you have to pay out monthly. And if that ratio is actually odd to them, if it's too high or anything of that nature, they will automatically deny you because the underwriters is thinking in their head, well, if they have X amount of dollars coming in, which sounds great, but their debt to income ratio is $3,000, but our payment right here is going to be $800, but at the end of all their debt to income ratio that they paid, they only have $400 left. Where do we fit in the mix? So let's not even ask no questions and let's automatically deny them. So you have to see and find the sweet spot, and you have to know all of your numbers and have your paperwork in order when you actually apply for these actual loans or any type of funding that you get, all right? And I know what you're thinking, oh, well, I'll just put it even higher than what it normally is. Yeah, that sounds all fine and well, but if you put it too high, they'll call your bluff. They can easily manually review your account and say, well, this person said that they make $100,000, $2, $3, $4, $5, $1 million a year. All right, hey, can you prove it?
Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God.
And we all know what's gonna happen after that. You're gonna get denied. And number 3 is more so on the business side. So you business owners have to be careful what industry you choose when it comes to your business. A lot of underwriters want to see and make sure that you are not a high risk, or what they like to call an NAICS code, which you can actually Google yourself. It's not something that's super hidden or urban legend or anything like that. You have to know your NAICS code. I can never say that fast. But it actually explains which category that you're in to make sure you're in a low risk or you're in a high risk industry. Let me explain real quick. Because there are some businesses that actual institutions will not lend to. You can't walk up in there and state, hey, you know, I'm starting a credit repair company, or I'm trying to get into real estate or trucking or cryptocurrency or anything of that nature. Yeah, your business plan and monologue and everything sounds great, but in their head, it's automatically a red flag because it's high risk. They don't want to hear about how you're going to help the world get an 800 credit score, or to buy all the homeless people with real estate, or you're gonna buy a fleet of trucks or anything like that. They're not trying to hear any of that, none of that, because in today's society, all of those are super high risk, and a lot of times businesses fail in those situations, so they don't want to lend to them. And just a caveat, I'm not saying everybody will deny you, but in certain situations with underwriters, they don't want to see that on an actual application. Now, I'm not telling you to lie, but if you can actually shift the category into, for example, like consultations, advertisement, marketing, things of that nature, something that sounds low risk, then that's gonna help your case even more. And even if you need to Google low risk industries, you can actually Google this yourself to see how can I mix and master what I actually do, even if it is high risk, to make it sound more lower risk. All right, and number 4, what they told me was, I even messed up on this before, is why do you need these funds? Or they might say it a different way on the credit card application. You do not want to say, again, oh, I'm gonna go buy a fleet of trucks, or I'm gonna start a beef jerky business, or a strip club, or anything like that. Even if you are, you don't have to say that, all right? Please don't say that, don't say that. You want to say more so along the lines of, oh, I need this for, again, marketing or advertisement or something safe, low risk. That's what we're talking about right now. And again, I'm not telling you to lie, but if you could kind of dress up your explanation a little better. I'm working on getting working capital for some guys, or things of that nature, something low risk in a low risk industry. Again, you want to make sure that it sounds low risk, not high risk. Something where the underwriters can say, you know what, that sounds plausible, and I know that they can pay their bills on time when it comes to that. So again, dressing up your words, making it sound a little more sexy. Again, most credit card applications are stated income. So if you trigger red flags, you will be denied, and don't make it that easy for them, all right? And the last one is, how much will you use monthly? And I've gotten denied doing this before, and it makes so much sense now. Please, guys, whatever you do, do not say a high number, because I thought if I put a high number, they'll think that, oh, I'll pay it off and that helps them and things like that. No, don't do that. Don't do that at all. So if they ask you how much will you use monthly, do not give them a high number like $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $10,000 a month, because you will be denied, or you'll get extremely small approval. Like $500. What are you gonna do with that? The underwriters don't want to see off the jump or off the gate that you're gonna have a high usage, because it sounds like you're desperate. It sounds like you need them really badly. You want to have a low number so you can get approved for an even higher limit. So let's just say that you're trying to get a $10,000 credit card on the business side or things of that nature. Well, how much a month will you use? Oh, I'll use maybe $1,000, maybe $750, things of that nature. Even if it is going to be different, even if it is going, They don't have to know that. They don't have to know that. Again, I'm not telling you to lie. Dress up your words. Have it at a lower monthly usage, and you will see a different amount when it comes to the approval, and you'll get approved. Most people didn't know these steps. I know I didn't know a few of them when I first started, and I just wanted to put you guys on so you could be in the right place and you could start on the right foot, all right? I want to thank you guys for stopping by. Now go get those large lines of credit and go get pre-approved, automatic approved, all the type of approvals that you need, all right? Use this step by step. And until next time, ladies and gents.